guys, welcome back to Emma's Real Talk. Today I'm here with Ava and we're going to talk about her 2-minute film opener, Rushing to Change. So Ava, how did your production skills develop during this project?
I think my production skills improved a lot during this project, mostly because I had to do almost everything myself. I was the director, the one filming, and the editor. This gave me lots of practice.
Yeah, that's a lot. What do you think improved the most?
Definitely my camera work and editing. At the beginning, I didn't really know how to use different camera angles, but in my film, I used different shots to show what both characters were doing at the same time.
Yeah, I noticed it kept switching between you and Hika. That made it more interesting. What about editing?
Editing is something I used to struggle with a lot, but now it's actually one of my favorite parts. I got better at cutting scenes and making everything look more smooth. Since my film used parallel editing, I had to edit in a way that made it realistic and keep the time correct.
That made sense, especially since your film has a lot going on at the same time.
Yeah, it was kind of hard at first to match the timing, but I got better at it with editing.
Did anything else improve?
Yeah, my mise en scène is better too. I paid more attention to stuff in the background and how everything looked. Like Hika's scenes are more calm and mine are more rushed, so those are different moods and characteristics.
That was probably one of my favorite parts. You can definitely see your improvement.
Yeah, I feel way more confident with filming and editing than I did at the start.
That's great. Thanks for sharing, Ava, and thanks for coming on Emma's Real Talk. And thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.
Hi, I'm your host, Bella Davis, and welcome back to tonight's episode of the Insight Hour. Let's welcome in today's guest, Ava Glover.
Hi, thank you so much for having me tonight.
Of course, let's get right into it. First off, how does your film engage with audiences?
My film engages with the audiences targeted towards teenage or younger girls. During this film, I use multiple aspects like makeup and the idea of getting ready and routine to help target my audience. I also made it relatable by showing one girl rushing and the other being calm, because a lot of people can relate to that.
I love that answer. I definitely feel like getting ready made it appeal more to younger girls. Be honest though, are you more like the rushed one or the calm one?
I'm definitely the rushed one. That's kind of where I got the idea from, because I'm always running late.
That's more realistic. I also noticed you kept switching between both characters. Why did you do that?
I did that to compare them and make the film more interesting. It also helps show their different personalities and keeps the audience interested.
Yeah, it definitely kept my attention. Why did you add little things like you grabbing food and texting?
I added those to make it feel more realistic, because they are things people do when they're getting ready and more so in a rush.
Next question. Where would people be able to watch your film?
I know everyone is wondering where they'll be able to watch Rushing to Change, and the answer is Netflix. I chose Netflix because people my age mostly stream shows instead of going to the movie theater.
Netflix, nice. How are you going to promote it?
I'm working on advertising on YouTube and TikToks once it's released, because that's where most of my target audience spends most of their time.
That makes sense. Do you think people will actually relate to your film?
Yeah, especially teenagers, because almost everyone has been late or stressed while getting ready before.
I completely agree. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you for having me. Hi guys, so today I'll be responding to a few comments you guys have asked. Okay, so today I'll be responding to this comment right here. And they asked, what technologies did you use to make your film? First, for filming, I used my phone. I chose to use it because it's really easy and convenient to use. And it still records in good quality, so I didn't need any extra equipment. Then for editing, I used CapCut. I used this to cut down my clips and arrange them in the correct order. This made sure everything flowed smoothly. It also helped me match the timing so the scenes made sense together. For my producer and distributor Netflix, I got the clip from YouTube and screen recorded it, which made it easy to include something realistic without having to create it myself. For my production company logo, I used ChatGPT to help come up with the design. And then I used Pixar to edit it onto a white background so it looked more clean and professional. Overall, most of my editing process wasn't super difficult. I mainly focused on trimming clips and putting them together in a way that made sense for the story. I did this instead of using a lot of complicated effects. I also had people asking how all this technology helped during the process. I think using things like my phone and apps like CapCut and Pixar made the whole thing way more easier and efficient to manage. It also shows that you don't need expensive and professional equipment to create a film, because a lot of what I use are apps that most people already have access to. Using these technologies helped me stay organized, work faster, and still create something that looks good in the style I was going for. And overall, it made the production process look something more realistic for someone at my level, since it's similar to what a lot of beginner filmmakers would actually use. Okay guys, that's all of the comments that I'm answering today, and if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below. Bye! This presentation is about my CCR question 1, where I explain how my film both follows and challenges chick flick conventions and how it represents social groups and especially teenage girls. My film follows typical chick flick conventions because it focuses on friendship, daily routines, and relatable teenage experiences. These themes are common and help the audience understand the film's style. My film uses common elements like 2 teenage girls, getting ready scenes, and texting. This helps create a realistic story and makes it more relatable for the audience. Even though my film follows conventions, it also challenges them by using an all-female crew. There are also no male characters in the opening, which keeps the focus on the female perspective. My film represents women as independent and realistic. He goes more organized, while Ava is rushing, which shows different personalities and makes them feel more real. The main social group in my film is teenage girls. It shows their daily routines and friendships, which makes it feel more realistic and relatable. I included small actions like brushing teeth, doing makeup, and choosing outfits. These details help the audience connect and make the film feel more natural. My film is similar to movies like Legally Blonde, Mean Girls, Clueless, Pretty in Pink, and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. These films focus on female characters and independence and inspired my film. My film highlights independence, friendship, and realistic teenage life. It focuses on everyday experiences, which makes it more relatable. In conclusion, my film follows chick flick conventions but also challenges them. It shows strong and realistic female characters and creates a relatable representation of teenage girls.